loud. And this picture that I just came across, I'm like, what are we doing? Kathy Engelbert, she came out. It ain't been that long ago, like 2 weeks ago. Refereeing's pretty good in this league. In what league? What league allows this? Can you tell me what kind of a move that Ryan Howard's doing here to Caitlin Clark? What is that move? Michael.
The quality of officiating in women's professional basketball has reached concerning levels that surpass even the notorious inconsistencies found in professional football. While NFL officials face regular criticism for questionable calls, particularly involving certain favored teams, the situation in the WNBA presents a more troubling pattern of neglect that potentially endangers player safety. Recent photographic evidence reveals disturbing incidents where officials appear to ignore blatant violations. One particularly egregious example shows a defender making inappropriate contact with Caitlin Clark during gameplay. The nature of this contact raises serious questions about what constitutes acceptable defensive play in the league.
Caitlin Clark, what is that move? Michael, a lot of us follow Michael. How the F is someone supposed to score when this is what is being allowed to happen to Caitlin Clark on the regular? How the F is this defense? Is this the WNBA or NFL? Look, hold on now. NFL. What kind of defense is this? What kind of defense is
Basketball analyst Michael highlighted the problematic nature of such incidents, questioning how any player could be expected to perform effectively when subjected to such treatment. The defensive tactics being allowed go far beyond standard basketball contact, resembling techniques more appropriate for football than basketball. The situation extends beyond isolated incidents. During a recent matchup between Dallas Wings and Indiana Fever, broadcast commentators compiled a troubling montage of uncalled violations occurring within a single game. The footage showed repeated instances of illegal contact, including grabbing, holding, and other infractions that went unnoticed by officials.
Is this? I mean, the jokes that could run wild here. This is not okay, folks. This is not okay. She's grabbing breast. In case I'm, they hate it when I say the word breast. That Angel Reason. They'll cut this out and put it up there. I'm not the one doing it. And the referees, I guess, didn't call this.
Multiple clear violations were documented during ball handling situations. Defenders were observed making illegal contact through grabbing and holding actions. Additional instances showed continued grabbing and holding that should have resulted in foul calls. These infractions represent textbook examples of illegal play that any competent official should recognize. The compilation revealed 4 separate instances of inappropriate contact before officials finally made a call. This pattern suggests a systematic failure in officiating standards rather than isolated oversights. Such consistent neglect of proper enforcement occurs regularly in games involving Clark, creating an environment where excessive contact becomes normalized.
You didn't call this. What are we doing? What are we allowing in this league? By the way, it gets worse. The broadcasters on yesterday's broadcast between the Dallas Wings and Indiana Fever, they put together like a little, just during this one game, this like greatest hits compilation of multiple fouls that never.
The officiating problems contribute to ongoing incidents involving Clark because referees consistently fail to establish appropriate boundaries. This pattern of non-enforcement appears in virtually every contest, creating a dangerous precedent for player safety. One particularly notable example occurred during a game against Atlanta Dream, where Jordan Canada was observed physically restraining Clark to prevent her from returning to active play. Despite the obvious nature of this violation, officials chose to ignore the incident completely, allowing play to continue without consequence.
This like greatest hits compilation of multiple fouls that never freaking got called.
The ball handler. There's a grab. There's a hold.
There's a grab. There's a hold.
There's another grab.
There's another grab.
All of those are fouls. Every single one of them. And here, that's a foul. That's a foul. And finally, they call the ball handler.
That's a
there's
foul.
A grab,
that's a foul.
There's a hold.
1,
There's another
2.
grab. I mean,
All of those are
all
fouls.
of those are fouls. Every single one of them. And here, that's a foul.
3.
That's a foul. And finally, they call
4.
the ball
It
handler.
took
There's a grab.
4.
These officiating failures raise fundamental questions about league standards and player protection. The consistent pattern of ignored violations suggests either incompetence or intentional neglect that undermines the integrity of the sport. Despite these challenges, Clark delivered an exceptional performance in her recent outing, demonstrating her resilience and skill level. After missing significant time due to injury, she appeared to regain her full mobility and effectiveness on the court. Her statistical output included 14 points, 13 assists, 5 steals, showcasing the well-rounded excellence that defines her playing style. This type of comprehensive performance had been absent during her injury recovery period, but yesterday's game suggested a return to full strength.
4 times of being absolutely groped on the court, for lack of a better way of putting it, before the WNBA refs decided to call a foul. By the way, this is every game that Caitlin Clark plays. Every game. I don't know if I still have it brought up. I probably don't. Bless America. All right, there's going to be a cut.
The contest featured Clark facing off against Paige Bueckers, creating additional intrigue around the matchup. A memorable moment captured Clark engaging in animated celebration directly toward Bueckers, demonstrating newfound confidence and competitive edge. The celebratory gesture appeared to send a clear message about the outcome of their individual competition. Clark's team dominated with a final score of 102-83, providing the context for her demonstrative reaction toward the opposing star player. The performance would have been even more impressive if Clark's teammates had converted easier scoring opportunities. Several missed layups prevented her from achieving an even higher assist total, potentially reaching 19 assists for the game.
Bless America. All right, there's going to be a cut. Okay, 4 fouls at the whole team. 4 foul attempts. It seems like it's this way in every game. They do not have a whistle at all. If it's on Caitlin Clark, they just let the crap get beat out of her. It's nuts. This is one of the reasons why you continue to see incidents involving Caitlin Clark, because the referees won't call a damn foul. They won't call a foul.
Her complete statistical line included the aforementioned 14 points and 13 assists, along with 5 steals, 2 3-pointers, 1 blocked shot, and 3 rebounds. This comprehensive contribution demonstrates the impact she creates across all aspects of the game. The moment represents a significant development in Clark's competitive persona, showing increased assertiveness and confidence in high-profile matchups. Her willingness to engage in such demonstrative celebration suggests growing comfort with her role as a marquee player. Current discussions attempting to elevate Angel Reese above Clark in league rankings appear premature and ignore important context. These comparisons fail to account for Clark's recent injury issues and the limited sample size of Reese's improved play.
They won't call a foul. It's every game. I mean, there was during the Dream game, Jordan Canada was holding Caitlin Clark down to keep her from actually getting back up to be able to play basketball. She was holding her down. The refs was like, bleep it, we didn't see it. We didn't see it. Nothing to see here. Please move along. What the heck?
The argument for Reese's superiority relies heavily on recent performance while Clark dealt with physical limitations. This perspective ignores the broader context of their respective contributions and overall impact on the game. Statistical analysis reveals that much of Reese's impressive numbers stem from offensive rebounding opportunities, rather than diverse skill demonstrations. This narrow focus on one statistical category provides an incomplete picture of overall player value. The persistent narrative promoting other players as equals or superiors to Clark appears driven more by agenda than objective analysis. These discussions ignore the comprehensive nature of Clark's contributions and the circumstances affecting her recent performance.
Looked good. I saw Kelsey Mitchell making backdoor cuts. I miss backdoor cut Kelsey Mitchell a la 2024. Even Natasha Howard stepped it up. Now, I'm of the personal opinion that she might have got talked to, maybe looked at the film and told, definitely keep the ball in Caitlin Clark's hands. Don't bring the ball down when Caitlin Clark is right there. Don't look her off. And Natasha Howard is a good player. I always say this in all my videos, and I often question her place on the team.
The officiating issues documented represent a serious problem that extends beyond individual games or players. The pattern of ignored violations creates an environment where inappropriate contact becomes accepted practice, potentially leading to more serious incidents. If similar contact occurred in recreational basketball settings, it would likely result in immediate intervention and possible legal consequences. The fact that such behavior is tolerated in professional competition raises questions about league standards and player protection priorities. The combination of poor officiating and manufactured controversies about player rankings suggests systematic issues within the league that require immediate attention. These problems undermine both player safety and the sport's credibility among fans and observers.
On the team, and if her inability to adjust is not going to happen in a timely manner, then they should probably rotate her in and off the bench. And they have been rotating her in and off the bench, but she improved. Now, she still has tunnel vision, but she came away with 18 points, 2 steals. She did only have 2 rebounds. She usually gets a lot of rebounds. A double-double is very common for Natasha Howard, and she was a plus 22 on the court. Again,
the current state of officiating represents a failure of leadership that allows dangerous precedents to develop. Until officials begin consistently enforcing appropriate standards, players will continue to face unnecessary risks that could result in serious injuries. The league's tolerance for such conditions, while simultaneously promoting narratives about player equality, appears calculated to generate controversy rather than protect its athletes. This approach ultimately serves no one's interests and damages the sport's long-term prospects. Resolution of these issues requires immediate action from league leadership to establish clear standards and ensure consistent enforcement. Without such intervention, the problems will continue to escalate, potentially resulting in serious consequences for player safety and league credibility.
Very common for Natasha Howard, and she was a plus 22 on the court. Again, there was a bit of the tunnel vision. I think she's one of those players who is not used to playing with a heliocentric player like Caitlin Clark, but I do see her making adjustments. And honestly, considering like all of the stretch fours that are out there, there isn't a lot to pull from, so I really do hope that Natasha Howard does acclimate, because I think she could be a very big asset to this team. I mean, when you think about it, the 4 position, that is like the position that all the stars play.
The Indiana Fever demonstrated their championship caliber play once again, delivering a spectacular performance that reminded everyone why they're considered one of the league's most entertaining teams. The atmosphere was electric, and
A'ja Wilson, Nafisa Collier, Satu Sabally, Brianna Stewart. Anyway, enough about that, because let's just talk about the 100 points that they just dropped on the Dallas Wings. In the first quarter, the Dallas Wings were up. They were up for a few minutes. That quickly started changing, and the Showtime Fever came in off the bench in the second quarter. Everybody had their moments. The Indiana Fever's defense was locking up the Dallas.
Kelsey Mitchell's backdoor cutting ability returned in full force, reminiscent of her stellar 2024 campaign. Natasha Howard also elevated her performance significantly. There appeared to be clear coaching adjustments made, likely involving film study and strategic discussions about maintaining ball distribution through Clark rather than isolating plays. Howard remains a talented player, though questions about her optimal role within the team structure persist. Her adaptation to playing alongside a ball-dominant playmaker like Clark requires continued development, but rotating her between starting and bench roles has shown promise.
Everybody had their moments. The Indiana Fever's defense was locking up the Dallas Wings. Arike Ogunbowale went 0 for 10. And according to Hunter Cruz, Arike Ogunbowale is the first WNBA player in a decade to shoot 0 for 10 or worse with a -20 plus-minus. The only other player that has done that that's still in the league is Jewel Lloyd. And if you would have said this last year, people would have thought you were crazy, or in especially 2023. But Jewel Lloyd did this in 2015. I am not surprised that it's Jewel.
Howard's tunnel vision remains apparent, yet she produced impressive numbers with 18 points and 2 steals, though her rebounding output of just 2 was unusually low for someone who typically records double-doubles. Her plus 22 rating demonstrated her positive impact during court time. The challenge lies in her adjustment to playing with a heliocentric offensive system, but visible improvements suggest she's adapting. Given the limited options at the stretch 4 position league-wide, Howard's successful integration could prove invaluable. The 4 position traditionally houses star players like Aja Wilson, Nafisa Collier, Satu Sabali, and Brianna Stewart, making it crucial for team success.
That it's Jewel Lloyd. Looking at her performance from this season, she is having a crazy season. But the Fever were all gas, no breaks, especially in the second quarter. The third quarter did slow down a bit, but that second quarter made everything worth it. Now, Caitlin Clark, again, is still having a bit of trouble sinking those threes, but she did come away with 14 points, 13 assists, and 5 steals. Aaliyah Boston came away with 17 points. She only had 3 rebounds, but she did have 3 assists.
The Fever's offensive explosion resulted in 100 points against Dallas Wings. Although the Wings held an early first quarter advantage, momentum shifted rapidly as Indiana's second unit provided exceptional energy off the bench. The defensive pressure completely stifled Dallas, with Arike Ogunbowale suffering through a historically poor 8/10 shooting performance. Under statistical analysis, Ogunbowale became the first WNBA player in a decade to shoot 8/10 or worse while posting a -20 plus-minus rating. The only other active player to achieve this dubious distinction was Jewel Lloyd back in 2015. This performance represented a shocking downturn from Ogunbowale's typically elite production. The second quarter proved decisive, with Indiana maintaining relentless pressure throughout. While the third quarter's pace slowed somewhat, the earlier dominance had already secured the victory. Clark's performance included 14 points, 13 assists, and 5 steals, despite continued three-point shooting struggles. Aaliyah Boston contributed 17 points with 3 rebounds and 3 assists. Though Lee Ururu's interior presence limited her glass work, Boston's chemistry with Clark through pick-and-roll actions showed marked improvement.
She did have 3 assists. I did notice that Lee Uru was giving her a hard time around the glass. But I do love some Lee Uru, I gotta admit. In the last game I saw her in, she sank 4 3-pointers. Kelsey Mitchell dropped a 20-piece with 20 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists. And at the very end, I think she was just kind of playing around with the Wings with this like crazy circus assist. Now, it did not go in, but it was kind of fun to watch. But the cross-court passes from Caitlin, we have been missing.
Mitchell's 20-point performance included 4 rebounds and 3 assists, capped by an entertaining circus pass attempt that showcased the team's confident playfulness. Clark's cross-court passing ability, which had been absent recently, returned prominently. She opened the game with downtown shooting threats and even converted an unusual fadeaway jumper. Despite playing only half the season's games, Clark ranks 5th in WNBA history for double-doubles involving points and assists.
Cross-court passes from Caitlin, we have been missing. At the very beginning, Caitlin did tease us from downtown here. She even sank a midi fadeaway. A fadeaway, not a very common shot for Caitlin Clark. And though she's only played like half of the games this season, she has the 5th most double-doubles with points and assists in WNBA history. We got some pick and rolls back from Aaliyah and AB, and just to like run down the roster, again, I will say Natasha Howard, I did like her performance tonight. I do think she has a little bit of tunnel vision.
Howard's statistical improvement continues gradually, particularly her assist percentage, which had been concerningly low. Analysis of her game logs reveals numerous contests where her contributions proved decisive, though her playmaking remains limited. The prediction that Showtime Fever would emerge within 2 to 4 games proved accurate after just 2 contests. While the opposition was Dallas Wings, the previous dominant performance against Atlanta suggested this wasn't merely matchup-dependent success. Lexi Hull showed moments of effectiveness, converting a 3-point attempt while playing 18 minutes. Her shot selection has improved, with more spot-up opportunities rather than driving attempts. Her defensive intensity and grit remained evident, though her recent aggression levels haven't matched previous standards. Clark's minutes restriction limited her to 25 minutes, making her statistical output even more impressive.